Ever since I discovered this brand, I've wanted to get it on the channel to show you guys. And for good reason. Because this company is from France. It was founded about 11 years ago, and the sole purpose of their inception, of what they bring to the table, is basically to offer elegant French watches refined by their simplicity. And this brand actually has quite a few outlets around the country, proper brick and mortar stores. So for me personally, I really want to actually show you guys this brand more so than this actual watch. Even though this watch is an absolute beauty, I'm more keen on introducing the brand because I really like what they stand for and what they're offering. And even the current French president, Emmanuel Macron, he even wears one of their watches on his wrist. So that's pretty cool. Now, the roots of this company are both French and Californian. Los Angeles, California, and Biarritz, which is a city on the Atlantic coast in southwestern France. And these places are the residence or holiday destinations of the founding partners: Elaine Marchich, Jérôme Mage, and Joseph Chattel. Now, the reason March is in the brand's name is because it's the three founders' favourite month. In fact, in Elaine's personal life, his brothers, his father, and even himself, they were all born in the month of March. So March has a very special meaning for this brand. Hence the name March, LA.B, Los Angeles, Biarritz. Now, with all that said, I see very subtle design elements and hints there's a beautiful reoccurring theme on this brand's watches. If we look at the date wheel, the third day of the month is green, which I think is superb. And honestly, it's wonderful to see that click over on the third day of the month. It's just a nice little surprise. And it's on all of their watches. If you turn the watch over, you can see that there's green lining on those straps. Even the stitching right at the top, near the tang buckle, is paying attention to their emblematic green colour. And looking at their website, some of their automatic watches also feature a luminous green skeleton caseback, and their emerald green theme continues on their travel cases. So why all this green? Well, it symbolises life. And for this brand, 1% of its benefits are donated to associations for the prevention of suicide, because the silence in this area of suicide is of significant concern to the people involved in this brand. And to me, that can only be a good thing. They're basically demonstrating and showing this through their design elements. But it doesn't stop there. I did mention that their sole purpose from inception has been to offer elegant French watches, and they're refined by their simplicity. And this particular watch here has been simple yet intricate yet really well made. All of their crowns, every single crown on all of their watches is placed at 4 o'clock. And many of the crowns on their watches feature guilloche patterns. And for those who don't know what guilloche pattern is, it's an architectural decoration which is formed by two intersecting wavy patterns. So these little nuances and personalised touches demonstrate continuity as well as thought out direction. I really like that. So this company has a running theme here, and I think it's executed not only intelligently, but also subtle enough to be noticed by enthusiasts and watch lovers. And these exact nuances caught my attention when I first discovered this brand. I've got to say, I'm pretty impressed. The details, they're not only nice to look at, but also nice to operate. But the feel, the nuances, the quality, the character, it's really nice. Now, did you hear that? That's the Le Jour Perret, letting you know all day that it's the heart of this movement. And that rotor noise has been audible every single day, in fact, every single hour. So that's a turn off to a lot of people, but it's also a mechanical symphony to others. And for me personally, when I hear rotor noise in a watch, I sit somewhere in between. Sometimes it's annoying, sometimes I actually like it because it reminds me I've got a mechanical watch on my wrist. I think these watches fit right in with the French culture and lifestyle. Maybe that's why the brand has been very successful in its first 10 years. They've been creating watches inspired by the 70s, but they've also been designed and assembled with careful respect to French watchmaking culture, quality, technicality, reliability, and also precision. Now, from what I can tell, none of their watches are actually borrowed or copied from existing watch designs. They're pretty much thought out and created from scratch. There's more of a unique flavour and flair to this brand, and I love that. Because in a lot of micro brands, we tend to see a case off the shelf, a crown readily accessible, your standard looking bezels, and the list goes on. But what I see from this company's watches is a lot of uniqueness, a lot of classical design elements. And it feels like it's bringing some of the old world into the current generation. And it works. It actually works. I don't know about you guys, but I'm actually really liking what I'm seeing on quite a few of their models. Now, first and foremost, don't expect to see cheaply made and inexpensive watches from this company. But also, they won't cost you an arm and a leg. Something like this will set you back about 3,000 Aussie dollars. But something you should expect is character, attention to detail, and very unique timepieces. And that's what caught my attention. I think we're living in a time where people are getting bored of the same old watch. They look the same, they feel the same, and there's no real variation or individuality. And looking closely at this bronze watch from this company, it's quite an interesting piece. It's got some nice elements to it, both in its tonality and its detail. And at first impressions, you might be mistaken you're looking at a dive watch. So you're trying to find those Loom plots or that 200 meters of water resistance rating. They simply aren't there. Well, that answers the next question. Why is this watch on a premium leather strap? It's because this piece is about style and design elements. I think we are beyond the scope of using our modern dive watches for diving. Personally, I don't see many Rolex or Seamasters gracing the wrists of professional divers these days. The tool aspect of these brands has pretty much shifted towards luxury jewellery over the past few decades. That's not to say that you don't see these types of watches on the wrists of people holidaying by the beach or the swimming pool. And it's not to say that you can't enjoy them in water activities, because many of us do. And looking closer at this watch with its screw-down crown and 100 meters of water resistance, a quick strap change, and I don't see any reason why you couldn't wear this watch to the beach. Maybe the salt water will give that bronze case even more patina and character. Again, it's all about lifestyle and choice. So what have my experiences been with this piece throughout the week? Well, very interesting to say the least. Firstly, the watch is built very well and the attention to finer details is also very welcomed. The physical proportions of this watch have been good, and because of that it sits quite well on the wrist. The movement has been absolutely rock solid and stable. Put the rotor noise aside from that Le Jour Perret, the performance has been absolutely phenomenal, flatlining all week with a very healthy amplitude. That leather strap took a few days for its decent bolstering to soften up, but once it did, the watch really settled right into place on the wrist. And probably the biggest surprise of this watch for me is seeing just how quickly that bronze material darkened in its tone and lost its shine over the duration of the week. Now the Loom was an absolute surprise to me, because all week I'd been wearing this watch completely convinced that it was void of any Loom. And that's partly to blame because it's winter here in Melbourne, it's cold and overcast, so I've been wearing this watch under my sleeve all week. And this morning the sun came out and I had a shorter sleeve on. The sun hit this dial for the first time in a week. When I went indoors, that handset lit up. It wasn't much, it wasn't dive watch territory. Totally unexpected and a pleasant little surprise. And the reason I say little is because the intensity is more of that Loom you'd find on a classier style watch rather than a diver. But you know what? That's okay. It's not a diver because at least it's got a little bit of Loom, at least it's there, and more importantly, at least it's green. So who's this watch for? I think this particular model is pushing the boundaries of art, creativity, and very good quality feel, as opposed to the practical functionality that we associate with our normal core collection. This is a more artsy-fartsy watch, a very well-made one, very classy, intricate classical design elements. But as far as design cues and subtle reminders that this brand's direction and attention to detail, it's continually communicating that to the user every day, with a very nice surprise on the third day of every month. Definitely a watch with character and something very different from the norm. And in that regard, well done, March LA.B. Well done.